pewter finished with fitted case, both provided at no additional charge. You acquire your set in an easy, systematic way. Simply call 1-800-453-2900 and receive 2 Civil War chess pieces every other month. You pay for only 1 piece at a time, only $17.50 a month. A remarkable price for art of this quality. If you choose, you may complete your set all at once. Best order by credit card or pay COD with a $1 service charge. Each piece has the Franklin Mint's return assurance. Chess enthusiast, history buff, or proud American, the Civil War chess set enhances your life. The first move is yours. Call 1-800-453-2900.
We'd like to give you a chance to ask any questions at all, any health-related issues that you might have. We would like to welcome Dr. Mark Lipton. Hi, Mark.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. If you have any questions at all for Dr. Lipton, 578-0707 is the number to call, 578-0707. What is the biggest health issue right now, this time of year?
Obviously, the cold weather. For many of us, it's still laryngitis, I think, from the Browns game. But the cold weather is the main threat. For those with chronic illnesses, diabetes, heart disease, cold weather adds a stress. For normal, healthy people, it's not so much the cold weather, but rather that we tend to cluster in groups in the winter. We tend to be indoors rather than outdoors, and that exposes us to people who have colds and flus.
And as I understand it, that type A Taiwan flu is really quite nasty this year.
Fortunately, for most of the senior citizens who the flu would be the most dangerous, they have natural immunity because this disease has been around before. It's going to be more of a problem for people under the age of 35 who have chronic illnesses.
And who haven't had these antibodies formed yet.
Exactly.
That's right. Well, let's take some questions for you, all right? Dr. Lipton, 578-0707. Hi.
Good morning. I wanted to ask the doctor a question. I recently had my son to the pediatrician. He's 15 months old. He has repeatedly been losing focus in one of his eyes. It appears to be like a lazy eye. And the pediatrician said that he could wait until his next immunization, which is, I think, 18 or 24 months. I'm a little concerned about this because, you know, I notice him quite often. His eyes seem to be looking, you know, away in different directions. They're not crossing. But I want to know, you know, what the doctor can tell me about this as far as if I should see a specialist.
Normally, as you know, when we focus our eyes, both eyes are looking at the same topic. Occasionally, one of the eyes will tend to drift off to the side. And it's not uncommon in children. It often will correct itself as they get older. I think the important thing is that if you feel uncomfortable about the advice your pediatrician has given you, is to sit down with your pediatrician and tell him that you're a little bit uncertain and you're not really sure what to do, and get the reassurance from him, and he may be able to tell you that this is very common at your son's age, and that with time it will get better. And never be afraid to sit down with your doctor and say, I'm not sure, tell me, talk to me. We think we always communicate well. We don't always, and if we're not, we depend on the patient to say to us, tell me more.
All right, let's go back to the phone. Hi, you're on with Dr. Lipton.
Hi, Dr. Lipton. I'd like to ask you a question about strep throat reoccurring. I have 2 children, 6 and 7, and they don't seem to get over it. They've been being treated with Ciclor, an antibiotic, kind of new on the market. And what would be maybe a preventative measure I could take?
Strep throat, as many people realize, is an infection in the back of the throat, and it can be quite serious. Ciclor is a strong, powerful penicillin, and it works quite well. Frequently what happens is that families give it back and forth, and you can have people who have strep, may not have symptoms of strep, and then in the close family environment, one child will give it to another child, the parents will give it back and forth to the children, and probably the best thing to start with is culturing everybody who the children are in close contact with in the family, making sure it's eradicated not just from the children, but also from everybody in the family. Also, some people carry strep in their throat, and even though they carry it, it doesn't necessarily cause an infection.
All right, let's go back to the telephone. Hi, you're on with Dr. Lipton.
Hello. I'd like to ask a question. I'm taking calcium tablets, and I'd like to know, is it possible that a person can take too much calcium? I heard there might be some kind of like hardening of the arteries or something if you take too much. Is that possible?
Calcium, for those who are not familiar with it, is primarily used in the bones, and there's been a large movement underway lately to take calcium to try to strengthen the bones so that following the normal menopause, when a woman's bones tends to thin, that they have this reservoir of strong bones to prevent them from getting weak and fracturing later in life. Excessive calcium does not affect the arteries per se, but in susceptible people, and that's not everybody, it can lead to kidney stones and other problems. In general, though, the amount of excessive calcium you'd have to take to cause a problem would be probably more than the average person would want to take. You're looking to take about 1,000 to 1,500 milligrams of calcium a day.
And I understand, too, that there have been recent studies that have shown that perhaps all that calcium doesn't do all that much good. Is that right?
It's a matter of timing, and that by the time the osteoporosis or the bones have thinned, calcium will not make them any thicker or stronger. What calcium does is prevent the bones from getting weaker. So the trick is to get the bones strong
early
when you're young, and so it's really more valuable, say, in a woman 40, 45, than by the time you're 75 and 80. Not that you shouldn't take it when you're older, but it's not something you can sit back and wait until the osteoporosis develops and then take the calcium and try to correct it.
Kind of like having a good balanced diet all the way through your life.
Exactly.
Helps a whole lot. Let's go back to the phone. Hi, you're on with Dr. Lipton. Hi.
Oh,
Hello.
yes, sir. When I was younger, I was diagnosed as having asthma and bronchitis. I haven't had an asthma attack for like 20 years now, but I'm having what the doctor calls repeated sinus infections. Is this the asthma coming back?
Asthma is a sensation in the lungs when the air tubes that carry the oxygen in and out of the lungs go into a spasm and they close down, and therefore it would be like trying to breathe through a straw. Bronchitis is an infection or an irritation of the tubes in the bronchus, which carry the oxygen. Usually as part of asthma, sinus infections are not part of it. The first question, of course, is do you smoke? And if the answer is yes, the obvious solution is to stop smoking. But a sinus infection, which would be up higher, is usually not part of asthma, although it's not uncommon to have sinus and bronchial infections coexisting.
You don't smoke, do you?
Never.
Yeah. I'd like to hear doctors say that. I got to tell you, we had a cardiologist on here, and I asked him if he smoked, and he said yes, and I was very surprised at that.
I've recently come back from several meetings in groups of 200-300 doctors in rooms, and just nobody smokes at all. It's more and more do you see doctors not smoking.
Good to hear that. Yes.
Speaking of vitamins, does the vitamin E have any value?
For what reason now?
Well, towards youth, towards your heart, you know what I mean? I've read articles, a pro and con, and right now I'm in between, can't decide what is what.
Vitamins are very popular, and probably the more popular than they deserve to be. I use the analogy, vitamin is like gasoline for your car. If you have half a tank and your car's not running well, if you put more gas in, the car's not going to run any better. It has the same problems, whatever it was besides the gas. The question of excessive vitamins, whether or not they do any good, is really hotly debated, and the general medical feeling is no, that it probably doesn't. There have been some reports that excessive vitamin C and vitamin E can have some effect. Vitamin E can help certain blood disorders, but in general, excessive vitamins are probably benefiting the people who sell vitamins most.
And excessive vitamin A, do I recall correctly,
can lead
be
to
harmful?
certain problems too. Essentially, all the vitamins to excess can lead to problems, including some of the ones that we normally think of as quite safe, as vitamin C.
So don't. Yes.
They really have no direct values, would you say?
In a healthy person who has a normal, good diet, who has no other illness that might interfere with vitamin absorption, excessive vitamins are very limited of any value.
Okay. All right, back to the phone. Hi, you're on with Dr. Lipton.
Yes, I had a question. My daughter has a milk allergy, and we've completely, or as much as we can, taken milk out of her diet. And I was wondering, a lot of people ask, like, how that's going to affect her since calcium is so needed in the body. Is that going to affect her long term, or what should we do about that?
People aren't truly allergic to milk. What they're allergic to is a chemical in the milk called lactose. You know, milk, if you think about it, is not really an adult food. There's no animal species that drinks milk once they're fully grown. And as we get older, a lot of people lose the ability to digest the lactose in the milk, and they can get stomach problems, gas problems. But calcium is available in other sources, and with a balanced diet, which you should sit down and discuss with a pediatrician, she should get plenty of calcium from other foods.
Time for one quick one.
Yes. What causes shortness of breath? I know I'm getting older, but
You don't smoke.
I don't smoke and I don't drink, and I know that I don't get the exercise I used to, but what causes shortness of breath otherwise?
And I'd like to answer, but first by saying that just getting old should not be an excuse for anything. Being short of breath or having headaches, being old per se, is not a good answer. If you're short of breath, what it means is your body's not getting enough oxygen, whether your heart doesn't pump well, your lungs don't carry the oxygen, your blood count's low, but it's never something you should assume as part of aging and ignore. It's the type of thing you go in and you sit down with your doctor and say, I'm short of breath, and have him work on it and try to find a solution.
Get it checked out.
Exactly.
That's the best thing. Dr. Mark Lipton, I thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
We'll wrap it up here. Just a second, don't go away.
Will Kolya be sent back to the USSR? Colby star Adrian Paul joins us live later this week on AM Cleveland.
Look fast, because the hands on this watch are about to disappear. Now, look again, and they're back. Why do these hands disappear? Because they're not really hands at all. They're actually electronic pulses of light. Introducing the amazing laser beam wristwatch. Destined to become a legend in its own time, we believe it will soon be one of the most sought-after watches in history. Developed by a leading computer scientist, the laser beam wristwatch is about to be launched in a coast-to-coast advertising campaign by one of the largest watch companies in America. And it will be one of the most expensive luxury timepieces of its kind ever sold by this leading multi-million-dollar firm. However, as part of a special publicity campaign, we will send you one of these amazing new laser beam luxury watches. Not for the hundreds of dollars you might expect, but for only $10. Yes, that's right. We will actually send you a revolutionary laser beam watch for only $10. They will not be sold at this price by the company in any store. Your laser beam watch is 100% computer driven, so powerful it never needs winding, and accurate to within seconds per month. And its mysterious, disappearing hands attract so much attention, you may find complete strangers striking up a conversation just to get a closer look. But to get your amazing laser beam wristwatch for only $10, you must act now. This special publicity offer may be withdrawn at any time. If you call within the next 30 minutes, you can order a second laser beam watch for only $5, just half price.
To order, call toll-free 1-800-453-3599. Save COD charges by using your Visa or MasterCard, or mail $10 plus $2 shipping and handling to Laser Beam Watch, P.O. Box 1738, Hicksville, New York. Please specify men's or ladies, gold tone or silver tone, and call now, 1-800-453-3599.
I'm glad to see you finally swung that total around. 56% did not give up on the Browns, and don't give up on them. They're going to do real well. Dale, you have some weather for us?
Beautiful weather, 23 degrees, sunny skies over Cleveland and all over the viewing area, and we'll have a high today, 35 to 40. That's terrific, too.
That is terrific. Tomorrow on AM Cleveland, we're going to meet Shelley Hack and Tom Mason from Jack and Mike, and Jay Leno, who is a fantastic comedian. We'll also talk about the Browns with Jimmy Donovan. He'll be here to talk about what they've got coming up in the playoffs. So we'll see you then, everybody. Bye-bye.
Refreshments for some of AM Cleveland's studio audience provided by Pat Joyce's Tavern.
Why make 2 trips? And why wait? At LensCrafters, you can have quality eyeglasses in about an hour. Even tough prescriptions like trifocals and bifocals. Listen.
I've gotten bifocals, and I've gotten less than an hour.
Less than 45 minutes.
50 to 55 minutes.
It was fast, but it wasn't rushed.
Why make 2 trips?
LensCrafters, Summit Mall, Richmond Mall, and Belden Village.
Hi, I'm Ed Lowe. Since I invented cat box filler in 1947, I've been improving it ever since. First, I added 2 deodorants to my kitty litter brand to control both kinds of odor. It's the only cat box filler that offers you this benefit. Now I've made it 99% dust-free for less tracking and better health for your cat. You might wonder what motivates a man like me. Simple. I love cats.
99% dust-free kitty litter brand leaves others in the dust.
What's anniversary?
It's a time to remember what your dad usually forgets.
Don't worry, Mom.
Fantastic Sam's can make the difference when it has to be right.
For all your special days, you need the Fantastic Difference. That's a shampoo, cut, perm, and style for one low price, no extras.
Wait, Mom.
You look fantastic.
You didn't forget.